Join us right now on the Rude Guest Hotline, Rude's most reliable heating and air conditioning products in the DMV. It's Mike Locksley, Terps head football coach, presented by IT Cadre. Trusted insight from trusted insiders, IT Cadre. Hey, Coach.
Coach.
What's up? What's up? How you guys doing?
Can you believe the season is here? It's finally here.
Yeah, I can. It's been about 200 and maybe 75 or 76 days since we last played, and a lot of us around Jones Hill House are excited about the rebirth, the restart of a new season and what it brings.
Yeah. How do you feel about the year? Like you personally, as a coach, this is your profession. Last year obviously wasn't a good one. Quarterbacks, are gone from last year. You got a freshman quarterback. We're going to talk about him in a second. But how do you feel? How do you feel about the upcoming season?
I really like our chances, and the reason I like it is because of the foundation that we've been able to put down. And a year ago, as we talk about, we won't be defined by last year with this 2025 iteration of Maryland football, but we'll be defined by the present. And the present is we have some really talented young players. The present is we've got about 64% of our guys that have never suited up for us, but we think and we know that this is a team that I think will get better each and every week, because when you're a young team, you don't necessarily know what you have until you go through some stuff, and I'm sure this team was built the right way and has a strong foundation.
I remember last time we had you on, you talked about, or maybe it was just an interview you did with someone, I thought it was with us, we talked about, it was a learning experience trying to manage NIL and everything and keep everybody sort of on the same page. What did you learn from last year regarding all that stuff and that you're putting into effect this year?
Yeah, I learned that I need to have enough resources to where you pay everybody, pay all the people that have the opportunity to help us create value for our program. And, a lot of times when, the first part of my quote was I lost my locker room, but they left off it, for 100 and however many years college football has been around, every player had the same scholarship. The scholarship was worth the same to everybody. And for the first time in college football landscape, now all of a sudden I have to teach 18 to 22-year-olds how come he doesn't have what little Billy has, and they learn very quickly that you have to create the value to get what little Billy has, and that was a learning curve because most of these kids weren't used to that. They all had the same scholarship check regardless of the position they played, regardless of how well they played, and this was a learning lesson for them. But the learning lesson for me was I had to have anticipated this and figured out a way to navigate it prior to just all of a sudden unraveling the way it did.
Coach, I know you probably won't get into numbers, but you talked about having the resources since the rules are a little different this year than they were last year. How much better was that for your roster now that you can spend some more money on some of these players?
Yeah, I mean, it's yet to be determined because obviously we have revenue share, which is a baseline that everybody gets.
Right.
And last year we did not have it, which is why, I was excited and pivoted to where, if you look at how this roster has been constructed, it would be equivalent to going through the draft where you draft players and you get them on rookie deals to where, it allows you to afford them. But once they establish themselves and what they can do, that's where we struggled a year ago because a lot of the players that we were developing that were young, had opportunities to go elsewhere. And when you don't have the resources, which a year ago we were probably in the bottom, the bottom 2 or 3. I don't know what everybody else's NIL situations are, but all I've ever asked anybody here on campus is to put us in the middle. If you get me in the middle, as I've shown when things are similar or equal, we went to 3 straight bowl games, won 3 straight bowl games, which hadn't been done here. And so the only ask I've ever had is, hey, don't expect championships if you're resourcing me at the bottom. And I can tell you that Damon Evans, my predecessor, tried to do what he could to provide the resources. And I can tell you that Jim Smith, who we brought in, who has a background in what I call the business of football and not necessarily football business, even though he spent a lot of time with the Atlanta Falcons, he's got a great vision for what we need. And so I can tell you it's better than what it was a year ago, where we rank, where it is. All I've ever asked is if you put me at 8, 9, or 10 in this 18-team league, then you can then judge me.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Locks, we know you've been coy with naming a starter. We don't expect you to do that here, but you've got a lot of youth in that.
But he can if he wants to.
If you want. I mean, you're more than welcome to. I know
How
you
much NIL money y'all gonna get?
But you do have a lot of youth in that quarterback room. You got Malik Washington, a freshman. You've got at least 2 redshirt freshmen in there. Justin Martin is a transfer. He's the guy with the most experience. Talk about just how green that quarterback room is and what it's been like coaching them up over the summer.
Yeah, it's an inexperienced quarterback room, but it sure is pretty talented, and obviously the addition of Pep Hamilton coming here to help us reset this thing on offense has been very beneficial. As Pep is one of the best, if not the best, quarterback coaches. He's coached guys like Alex Smith, and he coached Andrew Luck, and he had Justin Herbert. So dealing with rookie young quarterbacks, which he has, and as well as myself, having had a freshman by the name of Jalen Hurts and a true freshman, Tua Tagovailoa, in my resume, we have the experience of dealing with an inexperienced quarterback and being able to manage how we bring whoever we name the starter along throughout this season.